When I was diagnosed with inflammatory bowel disease, I literally felt like my health ghosted me. I was healthy one day, and then, like, overnight, I was sick. Literally, my health ghosted me. It was nowhere to be found. And it was so bizarre because I had just graduated from college. Had started my career. I felt like I was on top of the world, and my body had other plans. So again, I really felt ghosted. It was crazy. I woke up one morning and I went to the bathroom and I noticed blood in my poo, and I thought, that's not normal. But I proceeded to go about my day. I thought it was probably a fluke, a one-off, whatever. The next day, I went to the bathroom, I looked in the toilet, and I was like, ooh, that really doesn't look good. So I waited about a week. The same thing happened. I finally went to the doctor and I explained what was happening, and they were like, are you sure? Because you're kind of young for that. I don't think it was that. Are you sure you didn't eat beets? I was like, please, I'm 23. Beets weren't part of my overall diet. So I was like, pretty sure I didn't eat beets. They ended up running a lab test. They took a fecal sample and they were like, yeah, you definitely have blood. It's kind of weird. We'll refer you to a gastroenterologist. However, within 3 weeks, I had lost over 15 pounds. I was extremely sick. And I had never felt this way before. I felt so exhausted all the time. I used to be spunky and full of energy, and I literally had no energy. It was extremely depressing. I finally saw a gastroenterologist and they were like, oh, well, we'll schedule you for a colonoscopy, but it's going to be about 3 months. So I finally told them, if I keep going at this pace for 3 months, I'm going to be dead. So ultimately, they got me in, scheduled a colonoscopy, and they saw, oh, you have ulcerative pancolitis. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay. And I now know that ulcerative pancolitis means that your entire colon is inflamed and ulcerated. But at the time, nobody even explained to me that this was a chronic disease, that inflammatory bowel disease was a chronic disease. I was very sick on and off for 3 years. They did a colonoscopy a year later. They said, no, you look like you have Crohn's disease, so we're going to call it Crohn's. A year after that, they were like, we're not sure, it could be one or the other. So they said I had indeterminate colitis. Again, this is not uncommon. Oftentimes, ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease will present very similar. And at the time, this was back in 2006, a lot of the treatments were similar. So, again, I still didn't know this was a chronic disease. It was bizarre. However, in 2010, actually 2008, I saw a very good gastroenterologist, and he said, well, probably ulcerative colitis. Fast forward to 2015-ish, before that, 2014, and they said, okay, look, we know with certainty that it's Crohn's disease. So I do in fact have Crohn's disease, but it took several years for the doctors to figure out if it was Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. However, at the time, it didn't really matter for me treatment-wise because I was on a biologic, which leads me to the next thing. It was so hard accepting that I was going to have to be on a biologic. I was so scared of the side effects. I literally thought that if they put me on this biologic, I was going to get cancer. And now I know that, yes, your cancer risks are heightened when you do go on a biologic, but oftentimes they find that is if you're in combination therapy, so that would be with like a drug like azathioprine and a biologic. However, it is still extremely low. Going on a biologic medication or any medication is much better than letting your disease run rampant, because you don't want your body to be in a constant state of inflammation. However, it took me years to accept that I was going to have to be on a biologic medication. Now I'm on Stelara. I've been on Stelara for about 3.5 years. And I also, after many years, decided to study nutrition science because I spent over 13 years in the holistic health community. I swore that I was going to be able to heal my disease naturally. I desperately wanted that to happen. it never happened. In fact, I almost died twice due to different diets and holistic health interventions that I tried. But I will talk about all that in another video. I just wanted to let you know that being diagnosed with IBD is rough. I've had inflammatory bowel disease for 18 years. And it has been a bumpy ride. But I made it. And every day it's something new. Every day I look in the toilet to see if I'm going to have bloody poo. I have 2 small children now, thank goodness. There was a time they didn't think I was going to be able to have kids. But taking care of them, it's exhausting. Being a full-time graduate student studying nutrition, science, and dietetics is exhausting. But you know what? I want to know dietary interventions. What diets can best help Crohn's colitis patients, patients with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, inflammatory bowel disease patients, because I know what it feels like to feel ghosted by my health. And there are certain things that we can do that may help. Diet is not going to cure your disease, but it may be, when used in combination with medication interventions, it may reduce your symptoms. I find that after 18 years of trial and error, I have found things that work for me. And also, my body has changed over the years. There was a time that I could not tolerate dairy, especially after I was first diagnosed. So I switched to goat milk, and I was able to tolerate that for a while. But now, 18 years later, I can tolerate dairy in small doses. There was a time I couldn't tolerate any caffeine, but now I drink a daily latte, 2 shots of espresso, oat milk, a little bit of vanilla syrup, because my body can tolerate it. And so it is a constant trial and error process. But if anybody tries to sell you a quick fix, if they say you can detox your autoimmune disease, you can detox Crohn's disease, know that that is not true. Trust me, I desperately wanted to believe when, naturopaths or particularly functional medicine doctors told me, we'll help you get to the root cause of your disease. That gave me warm, fuzzy feelings because I thought, yes, okay, I'll believe you, because I don't want to be on this medicine and my doctor can't tell me why my IBD developed. So please, yes, you can get to the root cause. Yay. And, after several years, I realized that this is just all marketing jargon. There are researchers, literally scientific researchers, that dedicate their careers trying to find out what causes inflammatory bowel disease. So what I've learned being on the science side is that there are passionate scientists who do want to find a cure for IBD. Big Pharma is not trying to keep you sick, as you may hear a lot of holistic health people say, or the wellness community say, is Big Pharma wants you to be sick. Big Pharma makes money on you. Well, guess what? It is because of pharma that I have a quality of life. If it wasn't for my biologic medication, I would honestly be dead at this point, sadly, because I tried the natural route. I tried the fruitarian diet. I tried the maker's diet. I did the vegan diet. I did the autoimmune paleo, also known as AIP diet. I tried the raw diet. The only thing that was raw for me that worked was it made my butthole raw, because a patient who is flaring and whose intestines are full of ulcers probably shouldn't be eating raw fruits and vegetables. I know that now because I study nutrition science, but at the time I was desperate for relief, any relief I could get. And so I look forward to sharing this journey with you, talking to you about the different diets that I've tried, what happened to my health. It wasn't great because I was so sick. However, I can explain to you scientifically why these diets may or may not help. I read nutrition science research on inflammatory bowel disease a lot. I am actually doing a research thesis on IBD and nutrition. And I'm just passionate about improving the lives of inflammatory bowel disease patients, but also keeping inflammatory bowel disease patients, autoimmune patients, all patients. I am passionate to empower you by explaining to you why certain things that are told to you, like wheatgrass enemas or juice detoxes or, fasting, all these things aren't necessarily ideal for us. and they sound good and they make us believe that it will cure our disease or get rid of our symptoms. But really, it's just like putting lipstick on a pig. It's just marketing to try and get us to buy these products. And the people that are selling them may really believe what they're saying. It doesn't mean it's right. And I have literally tried almost every holistic health intervention. I have seen naturopaths, I have seen functional medicine doctors, I've seen conventional doctors. I have tried things against my better judgment and almost died because of it. Hint, hint, when I was on the fruitarian diet. And I look forward to sharing that with all of you because I want to keep you from making the same mistakes that I did, but I also want to explain to you about, I want to empower you. That's what I want to do. And so I look forward to telling my gut tail stories with you. And I look forward to making another video. If there is something you would like me to focus on sooner, let me know. And until next time, and remember, no matter what, always, always keep moving forward. Today may seem pretty horrible, maybe, but there's always a chance that things will be better tomorrow. And at some point, things will be better. So hang in there, friends.